Welcome everybody to tonight's video hangout. I guess Rusty's in the hospital or having some work done or something, I don't know. Anyway, it'll be me tonight. I hope you guys can find the link posted over on Stunt Hangar. As soon as I get together here, I'll get to the bench. And if you want to join me, just click on the link that's posted in the Stunt Hangar video hangout. And we'll get going. We got 5 viewers now. That's great. Hopefully somebody will come in and join me. They didn't join me on the last hangout, so I didn't stay on long. Anyway, let me make sure that I want to make sure that you guys can get in if you, unless I don't know. I haven't been doing this in a while. So I gotta see, pop out the chat. I'll see what's happening here. Come on. This is not my normal area to do these at, so I'm a little bit at a mess. Video hangout. I'm gonna pop the chat out. See that, so I'm a little bit at. No, I don't have any word on how Rusty's doing, David. And pop out the chat. Okay, there we go. All right. Let me move this over. Can you guys, has anybody tried to get in here? Or, I mean, the link is posted. Tonight I'm going to continue working on my project. I don't know, Rusty usually goes through a spiel. I don't know exactly what he says. But we'll do the best we can with what we got. So here we go on that. Hopefully somebody will come in and join me, because if I don't get any talkers in the first 15 minutes, I guess it's not, nobody's interested. There have been people ask me what I'm building here. I'm building just whatever. It's not a kit. It's you know, what I do is I saw an airplane that I liked, which was Chris Rudd's XL, and I said, well, how did you do it? And he told me, and I got a small drawing like this, and extrapolated this onto the wood, which this is not any of the airplanes that I'm flying. But then I flew the first one, which was a Super Tiger 60 airplane, and I saw the characteristics of how it flew, and I changed it to my piped airplane, and in a few flights I saw the characteristics how it flew, and now I'm building another piped airplane that we're going to change a few things to see how the characteristics work in that setup. And I'll fly the best one out of the 3 next year at the Nest. And that's how R&D works. I mean, you can't just say, well, this is going to work this way, and that's the bottom line, and go on. You have to change one thing at a time. Like I changed the tail moment on the piped airplane, and I like it. It's better, but when a little's enough, too much is not enough. So we're going to change it again, make it a little bit longer and the nose a little shorter. And I changed the wing location. I changed the wing itself, and I haven't got that video posted yet because it's kind of boring. It's just us standing around cutting foam cores. All these airfoils that are used, Geobolt, SV, whatever, are all within a pencil width of each other. So as I made a couple videos on how to make airfoils with your shoe, and those airfoils are within a pencil width of a modern day stunner. So can you guys, I see I got some watchers. I don't have anybody in the chat. Can you guys get in the chat, or are you hearing me okay? I mean, I have no feedback. So first thing we're going to do here, I'm going to get my makeshift fuselage jig up here, and we'll go from there. I'm going to have to add to these mold bucks that I made because this fuselage is longer, and I figured out a way to do it relatively easy. We're just going to glue some wood on it and sand it to shape and then mold up some balsa. Not a big deal. Ain't none of this a big deal. It's only wood. Okay. Let me set this over here somewhere. I guess nobody loves me. They love Rusty. Make sure this is straight. Relatively straight. There. Okay. The makeshift fuselage jig. Let's see how wide this is. Um, 15 3/4. Isn't that special? So, hey, what's going on?
Hey, how we doing, Sparky?
I was wondering if anybody could even find me. Nobody comes in to talk to me. They talk to Rusty, though.
No, I was seeing you on there at the thing, where it couldn't get me to this point. Now I got to it. It was just showing me the video when you're starting with the crutch.
So it's 8 16.
What are you working on? What are you building?
Just a generic airplane for next year. You know, my design that I've been flying. I'm just changing a few things.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm glad somebody came in to talk to me, though. Let's see what David Phelps. Here you find I'm on my phone. I don't have much expertise, so I'm happy just watching. Okay, David. Well, no problem.
I was watching how you're making that crutch. You usually always make your crutch that way?
No, I don't normally make it that way. I usually put balsa wood, half-inch balsa wood between the bearers.
Between the burrs, and then I used to put it in between there, and then you drill it out, you hollow, and you start to hollow it out, or whatever, in the center.
Yeah, well, this crutch has plywood and then 3/16 in it.
Right.
So it's 8 or 7, 7 and 7/8. 7 and 7/8.
Hey, do I remember in one other video you were talking about? You said you were building a Patriot.
No,
No.
no, not me.
Okay.
Not that it's not a good airplane. It's just not me. I don't fly much classic. I built that Nobler, and I just don't have interest in it. And I wish I wouldn't have sold that Nobler. But it's the way it goes. I don't have all my good equipment here in Dayton, so I gotta make do. Gotta make do. It'd be fine. Okay, now feel free to say something or whatever.
Oh, I was watching the crutch when you were making it, and then you already have the sides on it. Okay. And you use 1/64th over the top of that there on the inside?
Yeah, I saved a half an ounce in the crutch. So we got 2 3/4, so it's gonna be 1 and 3/8. 1 and 3/8. One, come on, sit still. 3/8.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Sparky.
What's up?
Not too much. You hear anything about Rusty?
No, I sure haven't. I don't know what he's got going on.
I'm hoping he's okay and came through surgery and everything all right.
What kind of surgery was he having?
He had the hip replaced.
I can fix him up. I got saws and hammers.
You ever watch that operation when they do a hip replacement? It's basically that way. They show you like they use nuts and bolts and screws and they put it back together.
Yeah, they're just mechanics, high-paid mechanics.
Yeah, we just used basswood and 20-minute epoxy. Well, Sparky used 5-minute. He's faster than the rest of us getting it replaced.
My father had to have a hip replacement done. He had to have a hip operation, a hip replacement, and they did. And it's titanium that they put into there, little bowling setups, and they show how they use these screws and they screw them back together and put the hip in. It's all mechanics.
See, I'm a mechanic and I can't make mistakes. They're mechanics. They're just practicing and they can make all the mistakes they want.
Yeah.
That's what you paid for it. Top dollar.
Yeah, they get paid big money.
You get big money to make a mistake.
Are you going to make that just the standard fuselage, or are you still going to try to do something where you round it or whatever you were going to do?
No, I'm just going to make it standard. I'm pressed for time, and I was going to build a molded fuselage. That'll have to be a project after this one,
Okay.
because I want to have another piped airplane ready for next year.
Is this going to be the same as your other one, or are you going to do something a little different?
They all look the same, but they're all different. You know, just like my airplane looks like Chris's, but it's different.
What are you going to try with this one? That
Shorter nose, longer tail, lighter airplane.
oh, okay.
I also changed the wing to use pocket hinges on the flaps.
Oh, you're going to
Huh?
the same ones that you use on the tail, or you're going to just use regular?
Nope, same ones I use on the tail.
Oh, okay.
So I had to cut a new foam core. I got video of it. I just haven't got around to, and I do have it uploaded into the software. I just haven't got around to doing it yet.
Oh, okay.
Uploading it. Can't figure everything flat. Okay, now.
Now, is your wing going to be the same cord? And
Yeah, same cord.
What's the root of the wing?
11 and a half. Why is that like that? So, I gotta doctor it up there. What the hell's the problem?
Well, that's what you're saying. The weight of the wing is going to be 11 and a half.
Yeah, root of the wing is 11 and a half.
Okay.
Feel free to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, what you normally talk about.
No,
yeah, I'm trying to keep getting all these damn pop-ups on my computer for some damn reason.
Been watching porno?
No, they're all about Black Friday.
Yeah.
Black Friday sales. Black Friday sales. There isn't anybody I want to spend money on that's worth going to a Black Friday sale. I don't want to buy nothing for anybody that bad.
Look up Mark Dice on the on YouTube and watch his last video about liberalism and the zombies standing in line for Black Friday. Funny.
Well, the other thing is too, they said that later today they're going to start releasing the credit card reports, and it's like I've never once borrowed money for Christmas in my whole life.
Credit card reports, what do you mean?
Well, they look by how much stuff is sold and how much stuff is coming through credit cards. You know, they decide on how good Christmas is going to be and stuff like this by how much money people will borrow. They put their whole Christmas on credit cards, pay for it through the year.
Ain't borrowing nothing. That's why the stupid board is bent. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
your board warped?
Yeah, but I'm just using it for a center line, so it don't matter. Get this thing on the to get the fuselage straight.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter if it's warped this way a little. I could jack it up in the middle, I guess. But it don't matter. Put this under there and see what happens. I don't think I'm going to be able to move that board by shimming it, but we'll try. Got worse.
You usually start with building the fuselage first?
I normally build the wing first, but I'm kind of hung up on the wing until next week. So in order to keep going, I'll build this fuselage, the rudder, the elevator, and stabilizer this week, and build the wing next week and put it together the following week. What is going on here? I'm sure it's something really stupid that's holding this up. Feels like it's in here. I don't know. Looks straight. Oh, I see it right here.
We wanted to start on the new ship this week, and we were going to start on this weekend on the wing, but the rods I got came delivered to me bent.
What airplane you gonna build next?
Patriot.
Oh, okay.
But I got I went and ordered aluminum rods for it to make a wing jig, and when I got them today in the mail, they came bent. So
I'll tell you a little secret about the Patriot. Don't use 1/8" landing gear wire. Use 5/32.
okay.
And if you want to know the ins and outs of that airplane, just call Jim Lynch. Seeing as no, Jim Lynch. I'm thinking you're building Jerry Phelps's airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the Volunteer. Disregard what I said.
I'm using the RSM kit.
Uh-huh.
But you said use 5/32?
No,
No.
that's for the Volunteer. I made a mistake.
Okay.
I don't know why I was thinking of that, but whatever.
No, because I wanted to make a wing jig for it. These rods came terrible, so I told them it off on that.
Where'd you order them from?
I had my father. I asked me to order them from. He ordered them through eBay, through some company through eBay. And I got them. They were 3/8 rods, aluminum rods, and I got them to nice boat of them.
Oh, sure.
They're bowed?
Yeah, let me show you. I'll show you what I got. Let me go get them.
Oh, boy. I will just use this one time to get the fuselage straight, and that's it.
No, just to get the formers glued in, or the bracing to the back of it.
Not even the former, just so I get the tail post in straight. Then the rest, the formers, I'll do by eye.
Oh, okay.
So, need a couple of small pieces of wood to glue on there.
All right, here we go. The company I ordered them from was called Antenna Parts Outlet 1.
They got bent shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the box came nice and bent.
Yeah, send them back.
Oh yeah, I'm sending them back. You can't go with these. Can't do nothing with them. And the rods are nice. They got this nice bow bend to them.
Make a good straight wing there.
Good luck. If you're building a Stuka, maybe you can, because it comes already with a bent wing.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's a shame. It sets me back. I was looking forward to working on that today, and you start getting it set up, get the jig ready, and then this weekend work on it together in the shop. But no,
Is this all from plans, scratch built, or?
the RSM?
Oh, no,
It's
you
all-
started with kit.
yeah, it's all from plans. Scratch built from plans.
Yeah, you can start on the fuselage.
Cause I got the jig for that. I got a fuselage jig for that. I was gonna use that this time and see how that works out.
I got one too. I just made it.
I usually make them this way and line them up and set up, but I got this other thing. There's a jig board, and it's got these guides, so you can line it up right with the. You can put the plans right underneath it and line these guides right up with it, and set the fuse right in there.
Yeah, I know what you got.
Never tried using it before, but I'm gonna give it a whirl this time. Never had to use it, so we're gonna give it a shot.
So I need a straight piece for the tail post. New blade. Kind of a boring hangout. Usually there's all kind of chatter going on.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of watching you build. Nobody's come in tonight. I don't know why. I figured the other guys would be here.
Let's see what
I
they
don't
say.
think anybody's watching on YouTube, but I don't know how Rusty gets on YouTube and sees who's there.
We got a Catch 1719. Hi, I'm new to Stunt Hangar. I have an OS VF46 that is RC. I need a change to control line venturi and needle valve. Call Randy Smith, Aero Products. It's in the oh shoot, vendor's corner,
Yeah.
and he'll send you what you need.
He'll have it. Jim Lee too. Or also, I guess you'd say.
So we got It should be fine.
I see on the Shark 35 I was telling you about that I have with the electric setup. I took out all the hardware I had in there. You see, I took out the 32 size motor and all that stuff to see how it weighs that way. I'm at 44 ounces.
With no motor in it?
No motor.
What that motor goes in it?
I don't know. That's what I want to find. That's what I'm going to ask. It's a question I'm going to ask now. What motor should I put in that?
What is it?
It's a Shark, the electric Pat Johnson, Shark 35.
Oh, electric. I can't tell you. I quit messing with electrics.
I don't get them to work right like the IC, like an IC, but something to just have a little fun with.
You can go with any of the Brodak 40 size motors.
Right.
It'll be easy to get 2820/7 and
Well, cats, why don't you come in and join us? We don't bite.
2820/7.
yeah, 2820/7 and I can't read this.
Kind of ESC size. I have to go to 50 amp or can I go less than that?
If you get all the stuff from Brodak, it works pretty easy, you know. I don't know how fancy and stuff you want to get.
It's got the Huben timer in it. I got the Huben timer in there with the Arming plug in it already. That's in there.
He has, I can't think what the hell they. Let me go see if I can find one real quick. It's a F2B ESC that Brodak has. It works so well. It's programmed like the I can't think of
The Castle or the KB? I mean the KR.
Pardon me?
Like the Castle ESC?
Yeah, Castle is programmed like that. But you can't put it on your computer and look at it. So it depends, what you want to actually
change it.
Pardon me?
You can't put it on the computer and change it.
No, you use a program card
Okay.
to change this one.
You can change the gain.
No, you can't get any gain in these things. That's all done in the timer. I don't know which Huben timer you have.
The FM9.
Okay, so that takes the box to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could use that ESC that Brodak has, and then you do all your changing with the timer on that little box, RPM and.
Yeah, it's got the green program block on it, and you can change it there. I was thinking of going to a 35 size or a 40 size, 35 or a 50 size ESC from Castle and programming that in there.
Yeah, they work good. I just did it simpler. Let me go see if I can find that timer.
Okay, let's make some bulkheads now. Okay, let's get my calipers. 15 viewers. We got a lot of viewers. I guess people are interested, but they don't want to talk.
Hey, here's can you see that on the screen?
Momentarily, I did, yeah, okay. You said it's a 40 amp, right?
Yep. And this is the Huber timer that we used, and I don't know, I forget what number that is. But yeah, this will work with the Huber timer. Works for a while. That's what we used in I got one in the Vector and stuff, so that's about the same size.
And it's raining its ass off out there.
Yeah, we're supposed to get rain here tonight, and then Monday snow.
What is snow?
Pardon me?
What is snow?
What is snow, huh? Yeah.
That white shit you got to scrape off your windshield in the morning.
I don't remember that, so I haven't seen that in 8 years already.
Yeah.
I drove far away from that. You can keep that shit.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of fun sometimes.
Oh. Snow's fun when you're a kid.
Yeah.
No fun after that.
Is it 8 or yeah, it's 8? I'd rather have 3/32.
So when you put the tail post in, you don't try to taper it. You just put it in just a flat piece.
Oh yeah. I just put a flat piece in there, and then because it's 1/8 T-slot size, I use a 3/16 rudder. I just sand it down right to the rudder, and it comes out perfect.
Oh, okay.
You can taper it, you know, if you want.
I've tried that, but I had a hell of a time getting the taper right. Shit, so I do it straight stuff too, and I'm like, well, it should be strong enough to hold it together. But on the planes, they always use a taper piece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I hope Rusty's all right.
Yeah, I thought he might try to get in by now, or
I tried calling him. 26. No answer.
yeah, he wasn't 100% sure when he was coming home. He thought he'd come home yesterday or today, he said, but
19. That's better.
he's probably down in bed and won't be out for a while.
$20. 21. 22. This is all 5-pound wood, but you got to use the lightest shit you got. 25. 21. 25. So that's the lightest piece. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so. I know that because of his kidney condition and stuff, that throws a little bit of a monkey wrench into this stuff a little bit, but
What's that ESC weigh about?
pardon me, Steve?
What's that ESC that you showed me? What's that weigh about?
About an ounce.
An ounce?
Yeah, I'd say it weighs more than that. Anyway,
And you run that with what, a 4-cell?
yeah.
Okay. And that motor is what, about 6 ounces? 5, 6 ounces?
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, it's 10. That's a hell of a lot better deal.
Put a PA in it.
You can't get them anymore. And I tried to.
What, a PA-40 Merlin?
Oh,
I have one. It's probably going to go here one of these days. But
Well, I know where a brand new one is in the box. I'm gonna go get it.
well, a Merlin 40.
Yep.
I actually like the Jet 40 better. I got one of both, and the Jet 40 runs better for me. It's easier to work with, and
I have no experience with any jet products. Yeah.
I got two. I got the 67 and the 76.
yeah, I got a couple. I got a couple 76s.
I got a 67 and a 76. I like them. They work nice. But when I tried this K77, that was a whole different world. Just running it with that pipe.
A77 is a PA75 clone.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty good. I got something here. I wonder where it came from or what's inside.
When did you finally get it? It was supposed to have been there last Monday.
Well, it got lost in my mailbox and we didn't pick it up in a while, and that's that. So,
Okay.
oh, it smells like tobacco.
That's it?
Somebody had a good time smoking in here. Holy moly, this is a nice one. Okay.
No, it wasn't broken, or the box wasn't all.
No, this is fine. It's all good.
All right.
All good. I can hook it up and okay, let's see. What do I have here? It's a 20C. Is this 20C or no 30?
Was it 25C? I can't remember what it is.
Oh, it's 20 to 30C.
Oh, 20 to 30.
20 to 30 in 2.6.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Do you have experience with the Igor timers?
A little bit. Got to get a lot more.
Mm-hmm. How important is to calibrate them?
Fairly important.
Okay. So if you don't calibrate it, you may run like weird.
Yeah. It doesn't react then to exactly how you have the setting for that. We recalibrated Samantha's in France.
Mm-hmm.
We set it here, and I thought everything was fine. And then Igor says, I think that needs to be recalibrated. So we went out really early in the morning where there wasn't any wind at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you really have to fly that thing straight and level and be able to hold that. You can't be up and down and everything else.
I see that.
And it was then we had to reset it though, because once we recalibrated and whatever it did, then it was more sensitive in some of the deals. But the first time that we calibrated it was in Chicago, and it was a little windy. And Samantha tried to hold it as straight as possible. We thought it was really good. But yeah, it really pays to have dead air and keep it nice and straight. But yeah, I'd see if you had an airplane that hunted, I think you'd have a hell of a time ever getting that system to work well, because you could calibrate it.
Okay. I'm asking you because of this, okay? I understand the having the two independent settings that work together in harmony. One setting says the electronic speed controller in which you set up the slope on
Yeah.
which the throttle response goes, right?
Yeah.
And on this slope you set on your timer can be anywhere over here, but the throttle response can be wherever intersects this slope, right?
Yeah.
So I said, man, I need more. I need more brake. I need more brake out of this, and just for some reason, I just don't get enough brake on this motor. I mean, it kind of runs like a pretty constant. And I used the lowest setting I could possibly find into the in the ESC, and I set it to start at like 3,000 RPM or something like that. So from 3,000 to 11,000. So if you draw the slope was pretty steep, right?
Yeah.
Pretty steep, right? And with the sensitivity that I chose, I was expecting to have quite a large amount of, upper end throttle and lower end throttle. But the plane in the air was going like boom, 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 kind of flying like that, when it,
How's it go again?
like, huh?
How's it go again?
Boom, 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 boom.
I think,
I love you, man.
what doesn't he say like 11,000 and 6,000?
Oh, even lower than that. I went to 3,000 or so because
You know,
to
what
have
did Igor's on the original setting? He says like 11,000 and 6,000, I think. Was that what it was, or 11,000 and 8,000?
honestly, I don't know. I think it's he just gave an example. He gave an example in which he started I have a picture here on the phone, but I can't use it because I'm using it for this right now. This is on my iPhone right now. So, yeah, he just gave an example over there, and if you looked at the example, so what he had here, he had the response here, like you have like any RC controller where this is zero throttle and this is full throttle. So what he said, he set up the throttle like this at 25% here in the throttle. He would have 6,000 RPM, right?
Yeah.
So up to this point is zero throttle, nothing response, no matter what kind of input you give to the electronic speed control. But at 25%, if you go to 26%, it starts at 6,000. And then full throttle, it will be whatever, 10,000. Say
Don't
11,000.
want to go boom, 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 boom anymore, huh?
Boom, 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 boom. So basically, this is the curve on which the motor runs, right? This is the throttle mapping that you have. And now, if you think about your timer settings, the timer will output only between 100 and 200 milliseconds, which is in this range here.
Yeah.
That's where the timer is going to output the settings, right? And say you set your settings to, say, the target at 130 or 140, whatever it is. If you go 130 here, whatever it intersects the graph over here, you can find the RPM at which it actually runs, right?
Yeah.
But then you have the sensitivity, right? Which gives you a block, equal block, left and right. So if your sensitivity is 20, you have 10 up and down, 10 here, 10 here. And wherever these guys intersect the graph over there, like that, that's what's the actually, you read here, the RPM.
Right.
Well, when I look at my settings that I came home with, and I was supposed to have a very, very wide band of, I took the sensitivity out up to 100 and still didn't get nothing out of it. So, or if it was there, it was just kind of weird. Almost like you didn't know what you wanted to do. So this is the dilemma in which I was, I was going like, what's going on here? It's like, what should I do? Something is not right here.
I
So,
think you got to get your bottom number up. That 6,000 is too low.
uh-huh.
And then because I think they said that the closer you have the 6 to 10 or whatever, the more sensitivity you can use.
Oh, yeah.
The wider it is, you got to go less sensitivity.
Yes, correct. I understand that.
And
Yeah, because if you bring the bottom down, then you are changing the start point. You bring it lower, right?
yeah,
So if it's lower to the same end, it's gonna be on this slope. So obviously, now if your target is here, you have to move it to this end, right?
yeah,
And you have more. The band is gonna be wider for the same sensitivity because you have a steeper slope.
yeah,
Make sense?
yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense, but unfortunately, I don't think it did what it was supposed to do for me anyway. So it's weird. It's just weird the way it runs. I tried different settings. I spent an hour or so with like a bunch of 1-minute flights, trying to get it to see what's going on over there, and it was just very wild in the air. So that's the only thing that I could think of is just it's either this not working properly, or number two, maybe this calibration thing is super important to do.
Yeah. Well, the calibration works with one thing it does is that when it's windy, if the airplane is up and down, it doesn't know where zero is at. And if the wings rock, it also affects that calibration somehow. It does. That timer really doesn't know if the wings rock or if the nose goes up and down. If you get a lot of wing walking, you'll hear that motor making.
How's it go again?
I knew Sparky's gonna ask that question.
I wasn't sure if I was listening to a dog barking over there, but
Hey Steve, let's try to sell
that's kind of what
cell battery. You said 4-cell battery, but how many milliamps on that?
on this battery.
No, yeah, well, that's what 4-cell.
That's
2,650.
Yeah,
The
that's
one you were telling me to use. The one you were telling me to use on that motor. What, you use the same size? About 2,800.
It depends on once you get everything in, then get something that weighs 8 ounces to 10 ounces or whatever, and try to balance that the airplane out.
You can get a 5-cell 2,800 at 10 ounces. Well, your 4-cell should be a lot lighter. You're on 8 ounces than a 4-cell at 2,800.
Okay, so that's that battery. I'll be right back.
I'm trying to figure out whether I should get a 2,800 or a 33.
More is better.
It all depends what your motorage is taking. What motor you chose. What how much power you are using actually.
Here we go. You got your drug scale there?
Yeah. I'm just checking to see how heavy is this battery. It's almost 300 grams.
11 ounces.
Yep. 297. It's exactly 10 ounces.
Yeah.
10 and a half, 10.
And how many milliamps is that?
How much this one's?
Yeah.
This is what I use right now. And they are, let me see.
That's a Thunder Power.
Yeah, Thunder Power.
5, was it 4-cell or 5-cell?
6
Yeah, they are 350 something. 357, 358. Somewhere over there. 358 with the connector.
Yeah, but how many cells is that battery?
6.
6. I have a 6-cell 2,800.
Mm-hmm.
They're 12.5 ounces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The 6 cell 12. Yeah, I'm not gonna run a 6 cell battery. I want to run a 4 cell battery. That's all I know what size I should get on that.
Well, I'll go away this one, but here's the other one, Steve. This is the one that I use all the time.
3500. Okay.
It's a 3500. The reason why is it uses about 55% of the battery. The batteries last forever, and I needed the nose weight. That
Okay.
it was tail heavy,
Right.
and you find that on a lot of the electric airplanes is that
Yeah,
things
fine.
are a little tail heavy.
I picked this up. This is tail heavy. I'm gonna need the nose weight in it.
Well, you don't have the motor in it yet, do you?
No, because I didn't buy one yet. That's why I'm discussing it.
Yeah.
I had a 32 in it, and I never flew the plane with it yet because it's overkill. But that's all I knew at the time. And now I learned a little bit more, so I'm gonna experiment with something different. Well, that's what I'm gonna do.
I'll go weigh this battery and let you know what this one weighs.
What it weighs.
There's a solution for tail heavy airplanes, you know. It ain't add more weight.
Electric comes out that way. You gotta throw out weight in it with this battery. I'm not used to it at all yet. Or just trying to get accustomed to it and fooling around with it. Not sold on it.
On what, electric?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it.
I'm not sold on it that it's like I'm confident with it and can feel competitive with it. It's something I'll have fun with and just say, yeah, I'm going out there or having an electric day out there and the guys are flying electric. I'll have fun with electric. But I'm not sold on it to compete with it yet. I still like my gas engines. I still like my IC engines. I'm more confident with that.
So this one here weighs 9.45. And
Okay.
it's a 3500 compared to the 2650 that weighs 10.5. So this weighs an ounce less.
Right.
Has a lot more milliamps. And more than likely, you're going to need these small square packs. That one that I sent him was a flat one, but he was just going to use that in a test stand, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't have to fit in the airplane. He's just using it. He's just using it for a test on a stand. So, but that battery that I sent him there, it's hard to get that into a 40 size airplane. It's too long, and you can't. This one here you can adjust. You can slide it forward and back.
Right.
I forget what a Thunder Power 4-cell 2800 weighs, but it's lighter than this.
Every time I play with a Thunder Power battery, it's about 2 ounces a cell.
Yeah, that depends what size cell you have.
On 2800, I've been playing with 2800 milliamps.
Yeah, that's about
2 ounces a cell.
Yeah. So, like I said, this one weighs 9.5 with the plugs and everything on it, and the Thunder Power, I believe, is I think it's an ounce less than this one.
Right.
But this is a 35 compared to a 28, so you get a lot more power for the 1 ounce. And instead of me adding an ounce of lead to the nose, I figured I might as well go to a battery that'll balance it and it'll last a lot longer.
I'm gonna need one that's gonna balance it because I gotta put that in there. But that's gonna bring me down a lot, and then it'll bring me in about 58.5 to 60 ounces altogether, which is a lot better than when I was sitting with the original setup I had.
So what is it? What did you say it weighs right now? 34?
45.
35?
45.
Oh, 45.
Let me turn it back on here. 10. Okay. 45.
Right.
And all I have in it right now is the
I'll go down and weigh the rest of this once and see what.
gear hardware is on it, and the arming pin, and the human timer.
That'll be a 65-ounce airplane.
But if he's at 45 and he's at 9.5.
45, 55.
Yeah, it's 55, and then the motor comes out to what? E-Flight 32s are 7 ounces, so that's got to be about a 5-ounce motor.
Mm-hmm.
It's 59,
Okay.
and the ESC is going to come out to what? 2 or 3 ounces?
Yeah, a couple of ounces.
2 ounces. You're gonna have about 61. Then.
And then you go you go add the wiring for all that stuff.
That'd be a 65-ounce airplane.
Close to. Yeah, they're about close to.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to make a
20,
super
you
light.
can add 20 ounces for the drive train, whether it's electric or gas.
Right.
Yeah. You kind of break
Yeah,
even on
so it
that.
comes out to about, hardware is always around 20 ounces rough on a good base, the average.
Well, if you are really curious, my 60 size, it's a 6S battery right there.
Yeah, it's a 2800 cell.
That's the motor, and that's the ESC with everything on it. So basically, I can connect.
That's a Jetty?
It's running.
What's that, a Jetty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is everything there. And
That's about 23 ounces.
I'm off the scale. I have to weigh it separate then. Let's see if I can just do this too.
Well, Steve, with this motor and propeller, everything's ready to bolt into the airplane. And the speed controller weighs 8.5 ounces.
9.5, 8.5. Okay.
So you have 8.5 ounces there, and
9.5 and 8.5.
you still have your spinner. I don't know. Depends on how light a spinner you run or whatever.
Like electric spinners. Aluminum.
What electric motor do you have there?
This one here is an E-Flight 32.
That's a good one.
I got to tell you, when I was playing with electrics, Will DeMero turned me on to the Hobby King $7 motors or whatever. They were just as good as the E-Flights.
Yeah, Hobby King motors. Hobby people used to have a good motor, and they were selling them pretty cheap too, before they went out of business.
Yeah, they were $7 for a 32 size motor.
Will DeMaro, he got that electric figured out really pretty good. He's got that really down pat pretty good.
Now there's the one thing, I guess, the new Brodak motor. This is a 3-bearing motor.
Okay.
So if you're gonna fuselage or firewall mount it, that would probably be the way to go. because there's less stress
The back mount.
bearings in there.
The back mount.
Yeah, the back mount.
That's
Yep.
the way this is set up now. This is set up as a back mount firewall.
Yeah, you might want to think about that that Brodak motor. It's a 3-bearing motor, and it keeps. I guess the bearings will last longer in them. I don't know how you'd ever get the middle bearing out though.
Oh. I know. I know. I burned one of these up already, messing around with one of them, and just venturing on in and fooling around with it. And I took it all apart. You could take the whole entire casing apart and set them back together.
Well, yeah, I've taken like a 2-bearing motor apart,
Yeah.
but how do you get the 3rd bearing in the middle?
I don't know.
Out from around the windings.
I haven't experimented and played with that. These are 2-bearing, and
I think there's 2 bearings on one end. You're not going to have a bearing in the middle of the armature.
I mean, why would you have it there?
Huh?
It does. The only place you might need 2 bearings is on the back side where the can is actually attached.
Correct.
Okay.
Because
don't
there's
have
the most stress.
They don't have a bearing in the middle of the armature. There's no way that would work.
it's not going to spin. It's not going to give it a magnetic field to spin.
Yeah, I figured if it had 3 bearings in it, they spaced it out. You know, we have electric motors in the old air conditioning stuff. They had long shafts on it, shafts that came out both ways, and it had a center bearing. But if that center bearing went bad, the motor was junk. They couldn't, because somehow when they pressed and put everything together, the bearing was put on first, and then the armature was over the shaft or whatever, however they did it. But I don't know how they do, you know. I just figured that some way they figured out how to put a bearing in the middle.
How come nobody's running counter-rotating props? They sell those counter-rotating motors.
That's what Samantha normally runs, but Igor doesn't make it. A reverse or a tractor or a pusher prop.
No,
we always run pusher.
They got counter-rotating props on the same engine.
They're heavier than shit.
Are they?
Yeah, the damn motor weighs like 20. You might as well put 2 motors on there. They do that in RC pattern. There's a lot of guys that run the counter rotating, but there's problems with that. Is that
Okay, you got the firewall in there and 2 formers.
I'm just cutting formers now. Firewall's here.
Yeah, see that? You got your firewall up front, and then you got 2 in the back.
Yeah.
2 formers in the back.
there'll probably be what, 3 there, Sparky?
You know,
Or 4?
Well, this is a pipe tunnel, so there's not going to be one there. There'll be another one right here.
Well, don't you put in like half ones?
No.
Like a half former in the top, and then
How's the pipe going to go through a half a former?
it's in the top of the airplane.
Yeah, there'll be something on top.
Yeah, it comes down about halfway, and then the tunnel hooks onto that, and
I got it cut right here. Got any plans for that? Nope, don't use stinking plans.
So Steve, what I did is I got I took my son's graphing paper and I made a graph here. with my settings. I'm probably not gonna see them in there, but they're there, right?
Yep.
So I have my RPM here and my and I did plot the curve, right? Because I was just curious what's my target RPM for everything, right?
Yeah.
So what I found out is my target RPM, it's actually about 8,900 on a 12.6. About 8,900, but I'm not sure if that's really true, whatever happens in the air. But based on sensitivity, I should get a as much as about 10,500 down to 7,500 RPM. So that's 3,000 RPMs between max and low. I mean, that's something significant. You'll definitely feel it and you'll definitely recognize it. And I don't. That's why I was asking you about that issue over there. Because I was just curious to see what's going on. What am I doing wrong here? So apparently, maybe I should run the sensitivity. I mean the calibration setting one time, and see what happens after that. Maybe it's gonna start behaving.
Yeah. I'll take Samantha's plane out of the box tomorrow. I'll try to and hook up to it and see what we got the settings at.
Mm-hmm.
And I can let you know. And that's what the German guys
Mm-hmm.
were running. But
I would love to know that your ESC settings, both your ESC settings, the start point, the end point, where they are at, and what settings you have for minimum max RPM and maximum RPM, because you need both of those.
yeah, I think I believe max was 9,600. It sticks for some reason 9,600 or 9,400.
Uh-huh.
And the low I think was 58, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it should have went down to. We had it down to 55, and I liked it there, but everybody was telling Samantha that's too low, and so she had me turn it back up.
From 5,500 RPM to 5,800 RPM is not that big of a difference. I mean, you're talking 300 RPM on a slope, right?
Yeah.
So what you have is going to change your basically, if you catch the slope and the slope in between 100 and 200 has the RPM that you're actually going to use, right?
Yeah.
So you look in this direction, the RPM that you're going to actually use, you should be fine.
You could really hear the difference.
And how did it sound?
Boom, 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 boom.
No, it didn't quite. It slowed that down. It just went full. But when she came over the top, you could tell that the RPM dropped so much faster the first 5 foot around that corner,
Mm-hmm.
to where doing it the other way, it slowed down, but it took longer to slow it down for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought when it came across it broke faster and then was more constant. But
Okay.
everybody, said no, that's breaking too much and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it doesn't break almost at all. So I'm kind of like when I'm trying to do those pullouts in a wing over or the outside square, and I go like how they go again like that.
Oh, okay.
Just in case someone asking how they go again.
Yeah, it doesn't break like you could make it do it, but hers wasn't breaking like a fox.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come on like a fox, and it didn't break over the top, slow way down.
Mm-hmm.
It was more. It picked up a little bit for power, and then it like slowed down. It was more of a constant speed all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing with the square, that they were looking for more of a constant all the time. No matter what direction it was flying about the same speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they had it.
Yeah.
And you know, I thought more brake on the down leg, but they said if it's windy, it doesn't penetrate as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they wanted to keep the speed up a little bit on the.
Well, yeah, I can see that if it's a thick airfoils don't like to penetrate. A thinner airfoil will penetrate.
You know, hers penetrated. You know, I thought hers is what 2 1/8 is the thickness of her wing. You know, so it's actually thinner than that 40 size Vector,
Mm-hmm.
or the same thickness or what. So yeah, it's a fairly thin airfoil,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it flew well. You know, all the time, but I just thought that um, slowing it down a little bit more on the downside. But I wasn't flying it; she had me pick it up. So,
Mm-hmm.
but more, you know, maybe the more she flies the airplane and get used to it, the more she'd want to slow it down or whatever. But I think it has to do what you're used to too. If you're
Yeah.
used to your timing and a certain speed and stuff like that, um, she was basically her bottom weren't where she wanted them. So
One of the best flights I think I ever put personally. It was at the Nats. It was raining outside, and I got my Oriental to go fly in the rain just for the fun of it. It's just being crazy, right? And for some reason, the motor slowed down, and I have like 6 second lap time or something like that. So I tried to see like, can I fly the pattern with it? And believe it or not, I actually managed to fly the whole pattern with it like that.
okay.
And boy, oh boy, I mean, you could read a book and do the pattern at the same time without even just worrying about the thing. I mean, you put the plane exactly where you want it to be. Just like you just wait, go deep, bam, turn it. It was just something to something to behold.
Yeah.
But flying it slow, I mean, I don't really care if I fly fast or slow because I'm more of a visualizing kind of thing. I kind of visualize in the background and just put it on the rails. If fly it fast, slow, I can do it, right?
Yeah.
But I can adapt like that quite easily. Now, if you have a plane that you want to fly over and over and over again, and you know it very, very well, then you know, you can get used to a certain rhythm or whatever.
Yeah. I think that, you know, she's flown Glow for so long, for so many years,
Mhm.
that 1 year of flying electric, she just wasn't able to make herself change.
Mhm.
You know, she just got so used to where to turn for that to come out with a 4 foot bottom, 4 or 5 foot bottom,
Mhm.
that it's coming down this fast and this is how hard I turn or whatever.
Mhm.
And we slowed the airplane down, and all of a sudden she's coming out high and she'd get a jump in it.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's just something that she's going to have to fly more and more and get.
If you come down and the plane overturns, close the spacing and look at the handle.
She was just holding it too long. You know.
You can fix it with the spacing and the handle easily.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, for me, I have a completely different set of problems right now. That this plane turns so fast, I have to get used to it and actually even increase the spacing of the handle to be able to take advantage of that, which means I have to change my flying style totally. When I was in the Nats, I was just flying normally like I was flying before. I said I'm not gonna change anything right now. But and the plane obviously, I mean, because I wasn't pushing it at all, really, to corner or anything like that. The plane would just fly nicely. Um, but yeah, I had some surprises, you know. It wasn't surprise free because it was a brand new plane, and we had some screws coming loose and the shaft sliding out of socket. It started to act funny. So sure thing. We took the nose off. We looked at it. We tightened up the screws back up. We found out the problem easily and fixed it. On the flaps, for example, I had some flats on a round shaft with flats and the set screws over there, but because the set screw was ever so slightly a little bit off the center, it locked it there. But as you put pressure on the flaps, it kind of came loose, so it was bottoming out in between this, So I had a little bit of play on one of the flaps. That was in the middle of the official flight, right? But it's just a matter of just finding out this little idiosyncrasies and little problems that you may have here and there. But when you have a plane with 15 flights and you're in official flights and that's already, it's not much. I mean, things happen. You're gonna have problems. So that's my story on that. Man, I'm looking forward to use this battery. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
That should give you something to test on the stand and
Yeah.
give you something to compare it to.
Yeah. So I already have the connector here. I checked it out to see if. So this is gonna work good. I'm gonna solder a female. I'm gonna solder a female
Dean's
on this guy. So I'm gonna put it here so then I can plug it into my into this guy. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. Anyways, this is just for your curiosity, I weighed the battery, the motor, and an electronic speed controller that I have right now, 635 grams, which is 22.6 ounces, roughly.
Yes, so, that's for the 6-cell setup.
3 ounces, but since I'm using only half the battery capacity, we are looking at perhaps going to a 28 milliamps 4S system and save like 4 ounces. But for sure right now, from what I'm seeing here, I'm pretty certain that I can go with a 5S 2800 without even breaking a sweat and worrying about the thing. So there's 2 ounces off the plane. So our plane right now, it's at 51 ounces basically, plus some finishing, maybe some painting.
Oh, okay.
With a 5S, going to a 5S. If you go to 4S and can use an even lighter battery, I mean, we are at 50.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. And it may be too light then. But,
that's like I said, that one battery I use, it's not that I need that much milliamps in it. It just balances the airplane.
Yes, yeah. Well, I have in my plane, I have 4 rails in the 4 corners, right?
Yeah.
With L shape, 2 rails like this, 2 rails like this, and the battery slides right in between them. And the battery is exposed on all 4 sides, so air can travel around the battery freely to keep it cool. And the rails are long enough, I can go all the way to the nose, underneath the nose, right in the front of the plane, if I have to.
Yeah, that was the problem that we ran into with the battery all the way forward. Still tail heavy.
How much did the airplane weigh?
It weighed 46.5 ounces with the heavier battery. That was a 40 size Vector.
That should be okay still. I mean,
yeah, that was super light. I mean, you get a few guys that can get their airplanes in at 43, 44. So I had battery on board and everything with 46.5.
Yeah.
So it had all kinds of power and way more than what it needed. I mean, the other Vector we were flying weighed 53, and that was with a LA 46 in it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Well,
so I was seriously considering making a plane which I was going to call it Vector-ish. But different wing construction, different fuselage construction, but pretty much shape and outside looks kind of the same,
Yeah.
almost identical.
They're all the same. Big
Yeah.
Noblers.
Yeah, I mean numbers and everything like that. Yeah, but right now I don't have the time, and
Or the
maybe I'm.
money and everything else to make something else all up.
I'm constantly thinking about something new. You take on a new project that's challenging and it's new and it's different or something like that. So
Who has now? Is it Mark that has the mold in Illinois?
yeah,
Have they been making?
no,
Been trying-
not yet. I mean, he's pretty busy there with the work and stuff like that. So he's not doing this like a job or something like that. So yeah, he's got the molds and that's where they're right now. I may take some vacation this year and go over there and visit him sometime in December. And the goal would be to come back with another plane.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I would love to know exactly what I want to have in a nose on the next one. If I'm going to a 5S motor or go to stay with the 6S. I mean, we have a lot of battery in a 6S. I'm really not hurting for weight. I mean, the plane is just astonishing. It's turns and corners and everything, even with this power system in a nose. So
Yeah, 53 ounces. I mean, that's light. And
yeah, 53 with this power system. Yes. Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's Billy Warwich's lightness on something that big. I think that Thunderbolt of his weighed 53.
yeah, but
it's painted.
Yeah, well, his is all painted too.
What? Whose is?
Doran's.
Yeah, it's painted carbon fiber.
that's cool paint, man.
Yeah, he got it painted as much as he wanted to paint it.
Why hide that stuff? It's so beautiful. Doesn't make sense. So that's that. That's the end of that story. Well, we are thinking about maybe on the next models to maybe add more clear in the mold, so we have a much prettier part coming out of the mold. Maybe less pores to fill in or deal with stuff like that. Maybe a little extra clear on the edges. We are also thinking about, after we put the clear, since it's a hard coat on top of the PVA, maybe at that point we can actually try to mask it off and paint in a mold everything before we lay the material. So if we can do that, then I think we are golden, because the surface coming out of the mold is nice and flat and shiny, and you have all the paint done. Well, the only thing you might want to do after that is just maybe some panel lines if you want to, or and maybe play a little bit around the joining areas where the two halves come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing about it too is that you could try automotive paint, which the stuff is light for the hiding ability.
Yeah.
And since you already have the clear on it, the automotive clear is heavy. Well, you're going to eliminate that, and all you then would have is
the 53-ounce plane is with automotive clear on it.
Oh, that's with automotive clear on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see to where if you had it come out that shiny in the mold, or be able to polish it after you got it out, you could take and put that in first and then paint it like they do a boat.
Actually, the boats, what they do, they paint in a mold first, and then they lay the material, and then when the boat comes out, it's already painted. And
right, that's what I'm saying. The clear would be your first coat, like they do on a boat.
Yes.
Then the color.
Yep.
Then lay it up, and then when it comes out of the mold, all they do is just buff the outside of the boat.
You don't even
add another clear coat to it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very little work when it comes out of the mold. Yes, that's true.
And that way you know, I can't see more than a couple ounces of color to do the whole airplane.
Yeah, I mean, we're shooting like, I mean, still we need to think about this. Yeah, I think Billy's planes was pretty much like an SV size,
Yeah.
which is about 660 square inches, somewhere over there.
I think it's that P-47
Uh-huh.
or that P-47 over 700 square inches, Sparky.
700 even.
700 even.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, we're still at 710, so
Yeah.
we fine.
Yeah.
We're not for weight. No, we're not hurting for rigidity. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, these planes are not gonna break in the air. Yeah, no way. No way it's gonna break in the air. Like whatever section of carbon I have, if you put like this and you make a balsa stick about 2 inches tall, that's the kind of spars we have over there.
Right.
So we have a half inch on a tip and 7/8 on a root. So you imagine a piece of balsa, 7/8 inch wide, tapering to half an inch. That's 2 inch tall.
Oh, okay.
That's that's the equivalent tensile strength in the spars that we have. I mean, it's rigid like a rock. I mean, we don't hurt for any kind. None of that. We good. We good there. So that's that. That's my story.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing I was looking in if you build a kit or something like that, a wood kit, and I was like, it doesn't seem like anybody comes up with that idea, or maybe they came up with the idea, or maybe drop it. When I made the wing for a glider, what happens is I want to put the washout on a tip, so the wing would be flat here and the tip would just droop in, right?
Yeah.
So we had like a torsion built into it as it goes towards the tip. No way you can do that on a flat table. Forget it, right?
Yeah.
So what I made, and then it kind of came to me with a light bulb, and I said, why don't we do it in a control line community? Is that each rib had 2 feet underneath, like 2 tabs, right?
Yeah.
So what I did on a plan, I put the plan on the top of the table, and I 3M77 the plan on the top of the table, and then I put each rib in position and was sitting on those 2 feet, right? So the rib was sitting in midair, just supported by those 2 feet. Do I make sense?
Yeah. They used to make ribs at one time that had the foot built in, and you set it on, and then you cut the foot off when you're done.
Yeah, but I don't think they went far enough. And
Let me say something about washout. What happens when you turn the model upside down?
gliders, they don't really fly upside down a whole lot.
Yeah, but control line stunt planes do. So why would you put washout in it?
I didn't say we need to put the washout in it.
Okay.
So obviously we need to have a symmetric airfoil regardless what we do, right? But the idea was to, and this is idea that can apply to geodesic wing. See, like you feel like that. So
I've seen that in kits.
like now you have access to the spar, and you can put the sheeting on the bottom, then you can put the sheeting on the top, put the trailing edge, kind of do almost everything in this position without even taking the wing off the table. And you can just easily you can even have a geodesic wing with this kind of build up. You just have to be precise about where these feet are at, or maybe make a special plan for them with just the feet position. So what you do, you take your ribs and you just put them over there, right in those positions. Go the geodesic, bang, 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 and from that point on, you just put a wing together. Just nothing. It just takes you an afternoon, if that.
Well, that's kind of how I do it when I use the
rods.
The rods.
Yeah.
I got it set up to where it sets this way. I can do one side of the wing. I just pick it up, turn it over. Everything's back down.
Yeah.
And then do the other side and pull the rods out.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Yeah, I used to do that too.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this idea more in the lines of a geodesic wings, where you can't really put them on rods anymore because they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is one thing that I want to explore in a in the vectorish problem project.
Oh, okay.
I want to make a geodesic wing construction for it, something that you can build, directly on table. And actually, if you have molded shells for the leading edge with this stuff,
Yeah.
you can just imagine, just you slide it in, you trim it off, you slide it back in again, boom, you're done.
Yeah. Glue it on.
I mean, just yeah. And if you have like those half ribs in the front, all you have to do is just put the legs like this in here, kind of like that, going towards the half rib.
Yeah.
You still want it here because you want to have the half rib actually is only in this position, but you want to have access to the sheeting to go all the way around. So I think like that's why I thought like these legs could be kind of something cool.
I tell you what I want to build, and someday I'll do it, is an X-rib wing, like a glider, the stargazer. It has an eggshell wing,
Mm-hmm.
where all the wings are the ribs are X like that, and the X in two spots.
I got it. Yeah.
I want to build one.
It'd be easy if you have a CAD program. You can pretty easily make those ribs intersect, especially if you go at 45 degrees. That's going to make your life super easy.
You do it too if you have two foam cores, one cut in opposite direction.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other.
I was watching on a YouTube video, and a guy did something like that with the X steels, and he did it on CAD, and then he had them lasered out, and when they X'd, they slid into each other.
Right.
Yes.
And he assembled the whole damn wing on there. Everything was in place, and got it all, and then he just went and glued everything. And I'm like, wow, that is really cool how he did.
Yeah.
He did that. But you had to, like you said, laser cutting made it a whole lot. He tried it earlier.
Yep.
To cut them himself and put them together, but he said with laser cut, he could interlock everything to where.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah.
It was like a jig when he was done.
You realize how stiff that wing would be?
Oh, I know it. And the only thing that he did different that he never thought of was the buck to go around after he had it done to slide, a molded front piece. He still cheated it like normal, had the leading edge glued on and then sanded all that into shape, and it would have been a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
If he'd had a buck and made that and just slid it over that whole thing that was all jigged up.
Yeah.
And glued it in place. But yeah, that would be really strong. That is a damn good idea. I never thought about that X-shaped wing on a star.
Yeah, and Steve, if you're really fanatic, you can even make a geodesic wing for that matter.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just make geodesic wings a wing shape, and then what you do, you create the geodesic pattern over there. No. I'm sorry. You can make an elliptical wing if you want to.
Yeah. Oh, look, yeah, elliptical.
If you have a real elliptical wing, you can do that. You just create the 3D outer skin, right? And then from the top view, if you look from the top, you get your 90 degrees and spacing, and you space them all around. And then what you do, you extrude this. You just move them upwards like a knife going through the surface, and wherever they intersect the surface, that's where you're going to have your actually outer edge. And from that point on, you can take them off one by one and process them a little bit and clean them up a little bit and run with it.
What's the guy's name that runs the laser there at Brodak, Sparky?
I don't remember.
John something. But he'll actually, if you come up with a
vector file.
whatever you want for $100. He'll draw that in CAD and have it and will laser cut your parts. Then you just got to pay it for the laser cutting. But I forget who was in there, and they kind of did a rough drawing of how long they wanted it and stuff like that. He got on there for $100 and drew the whole damn thing in CAD, and it would automatically go into the laser.
But, you know, that's a very good deal because it takes a long time to do that, unless you have very something that's very specialized, a program that's very specialized to do that for you.
Profi, that Profi wing rib generator.
I used it, and I'm not exactly. I mean, it's okay. It gets the job done. For if you have a straight taper wing with the equal spacing or even some unequal spacing, you can very.
I'll bet you a guy that uses that program every day knows the trick to make it work.
Okay, yeah.
John Parker, that's his name. There at Brodak. But
CAD programs are weird. If you know all the right numbers, the X, the Y, and the Z numbers to put in, it'll calculate. You hit the button, it goes, and it lays it out for you.
Hey, Sparky, how did it go again?
Nice try.
oh yeah.
You know what payback is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, today with all the laser and CAD and stuff like that, it seems like we'd have came up with a different way to actually build a wing and stuff. You know, just like you're saying with the X deal, and you could slide them together and have them all in, and everything would be fitted, and that wing would be so damn strong. And
you know what? Come to think of it, I bet my plotter would cut it out, but I'd have to cut it out at C temp. You know, I couldn't cut wood, but I could cut the templates. That program that I got, for the sign cutter would lay those ribs out. It's just a vector graphic, is all it is.
Yeah, you know, after I seen that video of that guy doing it, I'm like, gosh damn, I'd like to do something like that. But he had the all the bracing and everything underneath the spar, all that locked into place. The ribs went through. It was really cool how he did it, but you could tell it was a lot of work, and you'd really have to know what you're doing on, you know, that kind of stuff. But once you had it, or somebody that really knew how to use it, you know, we got guys at work that draw stuff on CAD all the time, and man, they're popping stuff in and doing this and doing that. I mean, they're going at 100 miles an hour, but they use it 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you know, they've learned all the little tricks. And
yeah, that's a skill in itself. Yeah, just to learn how to do a CAD, you know, anything in CAD to represent them. Try to put a motor in CAD. I mean, you're just gonna go nuts before you actually get it right and actually works.
When I was a kid, our pettit rep at the hobby shop, Victor Cunningham, was a free flight guy. He designed that Stargazer, Stargazer Galaxy. That's what it is, the Galaxy. And it has those X ribs and that all honeycomb wing. And so the free flight guys use that, so it's got to be light.
Yeah.
Then he would take that Galaxy. It had a torpedo 40 on it, and he'd point it straight in the air. It had 8.8 prop combat motor or pylon motor, and he'd let it go, and it go out of sight. Just so fast, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, figured it was probably heading up there at 150, 160 miles an hour.
Yeah, they only run them, I think, 10 or 15 seconds. They go, yow! Ridiculous. How's it go again? Yow!
I was going to tell Steve hey, Steve, it's your turn to.
Get him now. I do that all the time. I'm always making noise, and my hands are going. But get too
Yeah.
excited, I guess.
Yeah.
Last year not last year at the Nats, because we weren't there. The year before at the Nats, there was a guy that was free flight, and he had like a little launching device that he stuck his airplane in, and that was the same thing with that boy. He fired that thing up and released something, and that airplane said, "Phew."
I go,
"Wow."
I go again.
And it was just gone, and then all of a sudden it would come back in, and he didn't really have to go that far. I'm like, wow.
I watched the video of them guys throwing the gliders that Doran has up there by the wing.
Yeah.
They really go fast and far.
Yeah, I could just see me grabbing the end of a wing and slinging it. I'd be slinging it right in the ground or off somewhere or whatever.
I break the wing off, no, probably.
Yeah.
No, you would not. There's one guy that throws a snipe at 300 feet up in the air. This is no exaggeration. I mean, there's a video to prove it, and an actual telemetry in a plane that tells you how high it was. He actually threw it at 315 feet, to be more exact.
Oh
We
my
need
God.
The guy is huge.
Was he an old quarterback or a javelin thrower or something like that?
I don't know, but he's got some arms about this big. And the guy is massive. I mean, he's got a lot of mass and it moves. They show him in slow motion when he throws. He catches the plane and relights. It's so fast. The slow motion looks pretty quick for me. I kid you not. I mean, it's just that guy. It's a monster, throws.
He needs to be in the Fox 15 hurl then.
And we had a kid in our neighborhood, and he was no taller than me and stuff like that at the time, because he was only, I don't know, maybe 15, 14 years old. And he didn't have big arms, anything, but he could throw something. So it was just unbelievable how far he could throw something. And we used to get him to try to show us how he threw a football, because he could, at that age, he could throw like 50 yards, and nobody could believe that he could throw a football like that. And if we played, just sandlot football with normal people, we get one guy just to run, and the guy guarding him would stop because nobody could throw a football that far. And Tommy could just. And a lot of times, if you weren't running fast enough, he overthrew you. But
Wow.
yeah, and with a baseball, it was just crazy how far we went to a president. Well, back in the day, we used to have President's Day field events or whatever, and you got a letter from the president. If you could do so many pull-ups and you could run a quarter mile at such a speed and do all these different things. And he was in the 8th grade, and they brought him over there, and we were there. And he outthrew everybody in the whole school, juniors, seniors, people on the baseball team. It was just crazy. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, how could you throw a baseball that far?"
He was gifted with a certain muscle structure, because you can't teach anybody to do that. Like a pitcher or whatever, they practice, but you can't just take anybody with big arms or whatever and have them throw a baseball at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. He should have been a professional baseball player, but he got into drugs, and that ended that whole deal right there.
I went to a carnival, and they had a baseball throwing booth. They had a radar gun, and I picked that ball up and I threw it. I think I only threw it at about 55 miles an hour. But that I just about jerked my arm out of my socket. The ball felt so light. That's what it was. They didn't have a regulation baseball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never could.
Yeah, when some of the strong throwers are throwing those DLGs, they leave their hands at about in between 75, 80 miles per hour. On a radar gun, they were about over 120 kilometers per hour. That's
I
how
don't,
they
I don't
stay.
speak Japanese. How fast is that?
It's about
You said bonsai.
miles per hour.
Yeah, I did say bonsai to Casmanado. Bonsai!
He didn't like that. Well, no bonsai.
Did you hear me say that to him?
Yeah.
Kaz is one of the nicest guys in the world. He
Oh,
wouldn't care.
He said no bonsai, no bonsai. He didn't like that too much.
Yeah.
This is no bonsai zone.
Kazuma, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I got to know him a lot better over there in France when he was helping and not concentrating on flying. I mean, people don't realize that when you're under the pressure to fly and put in a good score, everybody's concentrating so hard it's not themselves. When he wasn't flying, he was a totally different person. So relaxed and talking with you and everything else. But
It does take something out of you when you. Funny thing is, like, probably the best when I fly the best, I'm in a competition. That's when I fly the best. When I'm outside of a competition, even though I want to try to put in a good flight, I just can't for some reason. When I go in competition, man, it brings the best out of me for some reason.
yeah, you concentrate harder or whatever.
Oh, the focus is there. Yes. That's another thing that my drawing teacher told me when I was going in Romania, and I was going for the architecture college over there. She said I wasn't doing very good when I was in her class, in her tutoring, stuff. But when I went over there, she said my scores just went through the roof all of a sudden, and she said like it's just unbelievable. That was kind of what she said about me. So for some reason, and Steve, I was thinking about what you said about having different planes. You had like two vectors. You said you have a couple different planes that were kind of flying different, even though they were the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think you can build it as straight, as perfect as you can possibly build them. But there's always one variable which you cannot replicate, and that's the wood quality and what kind of wood you put in a plane. Because one is going to flex a little bit more, one a little bit less, and stuff like that. One is going to twist a little bit more, one a little bit less, and at that point you go like you throw your hands in the air and you start to wonder why is that happening. So my guess would be that.
That's because it's a living thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You put one extra coat of paint on an airplane, they fly different.
So did you decide to put one less deal in the back there, or you just didn't put it in yet?
You mean here?
Yeah. Well, no, all the way towards the tail.
No, that's the correct amount right there.
Two farmers passed away.
Oh, I used two formers passed away.
Oh, I thought you had a third one you were going to put further back.
No, I was using it to hold. See, I'm using that mold buck, and I made this fuselage to shape of the mold buck, and that's where the former was on the buck. So I had to hold that, the distance there while I cut this.
I want to get that one to fit then. Oh, okay.
Because I even had them laid out on this in a different position. But it's no good because I'm going to use that mold buck. I don't want to go through making a whole bunch of stuff. I want to do this fast. Doesn't look like I want to save any
You
weight.
gotta have that so the tank will go all the way back into the wing a little bit, huh?
Tank goes back in the wing 2 inches.
Oh, so you cut into the wing.
Yep. I make a notch in the wing and then put ribs on it. You know, I box that all off, and when you epoxy this together,
Sand.
you smear epoxy on this, and it just locks in.
Oh, okay.
Why would you do that instead of you just getting the wider tank that would fit in the space?
You could do that if you wanted a wider tank, but I did it because I want to move the weight back towards the center of gravity.
Okay.
That was the reason to lighten up the nose. You know, I lost a ½ ounce on this crutch and moved the tank back, and now tomorrow I'm gonna go to the hobby shop and get some brass 1/2-inch tubing and a piece of rock hard 1/2 inch, and I'll make a mold buck for a stabilizer, and I'm gonna mold the stabilizer.
Oh, that's
What do
cool.
you mold? Just the leading edge or everything?
The whole thing.
Okay.
I'll mold, you know, I'll glue the sheeting together so that it's 4 inches, it'll be 8 inches plus the leading edge, probably 9 inches. Then mold it around the blank, and then take it off, and then build a frame and just stick the frame into it, you know.
Okay.
So the sheeting will be like this, and then the ribs will go inside from the back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sounds interesting. Are you using the rod technique for that? Just put the ribs on the rod and the sheeting on top of it, or
No, I use the eye technique.
the eye technique?
That looks
The
great.
meat technique.
Use white glue on the ribs, you know, that looks straight. Put it in, set it on the table, and then weight it down flat.
So you have a flat stabilizer, don't you?
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought you have like some kind of a tapered stabilizer that tapers towards the tip and all that good stuff.
I got a foam core stabilizer here, but it would have been okay, except it's too heavy. It's, you know, I got to get a lighter than 3 ounce. It seems like that seems to be the barrier on the stabilizer. Here somewhere.
How much did it weigh, Sparky?
What?
How much did that stabilizer weigh? That was the foam one.
Yeah.
3 ounces?
Yeah.
And what do you want it to weigh out at? I know light as possible, but what is 2 ounces?
2.5.
2.5?
2 would be great, but you know, I've got to get at least a ½ ounce off the back. When I put this all together, I'll put the mold on this, and I'll sand the inside. Well, I'll sand the outside to shape. Then I'll sand the inside out of this, and get this down to a 1/16 of an inch from the inside out.
Oh, okay.
Take half the weight away back there. I've got to make the tail about 1.5 ounces lighter for what I've done here. Now the airplane that I'm flying now, the high roller, I don't know that I can relay this to you. The first one, the Junar XL, weighed 57 ounces until the mishap, and after the repair on the Junar, it weighs 59 ounces. My Monado with the good finish on it weighs 62 ounces, and the high roller, those 2 airplanes have Super Tiger 60s in them, and the high roller weighs 61.5 ounces with a PA-75 and pipe in it. So in all actuality, it's a lighter airplane than the other 2.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to make this one in the mid-50s.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone know anybody in the judging from the nationals this year that has the least at the weigh-in? When you check in your model before the pilot's parents judging, they weigh the models.
Yeah, you can go on the Pampa website and look at the no Grindex deal or whatever. Let me look. What do you want to know? How much your model weighed?
No, I'm just curious. I just wanted to do a little research and get the official list.
Let's see here.
Because everybody says my plane weighs like 20 ounces and actually 70 ounces or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, right.
So I want the official list at the Nats in particular.
I don't think they keep an official list.
I think more than likely Paul Walker was probably one of the lightest ones.
I don't think so.
But he built a much smaller airplane.
Let's see.
Well, they flew his P-47 this year at the Nats, right?
Yeah, that was 60 some ounces.
Yeah, and when he went to Golden State, he went back to his Predator.
What happened with that brand new one? I seen it there. I didn't get to see it fly, but he came up with some new airplane.
You know, honestly, I don't see how you can make a plane that's about 64 ounces with balsa construction, stuff like that. I mean, it may, even Warwatch, the 53 ounces almost sounds too unbelievable to me.
Did you? Oh no, it's true because I've seen it and I've held it. It's true. Did you fly advanced or open, Doran?
Yeah, I mean, it's like my plane is my plane is about 58-ish, 59-ish right now.
What did you fly, advanced or open?
What?
What
You flew advanced at the Nats, I think.
I flew advanced.
Okay. Advanced. Advanced electric. Your airplane weighed 58.6 ounces.
You have the official list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see. 60, that's the advanced. 61, 43 ounces for, oh, that's profile. Advanced electric. Let's see.
Yeah, because everything is on Noel's Noel Drindax list over there. There's pretty much what people said. What people.
I don't know. Nobody would claim a 70 some ounce airplane, 75 ounce airplane. Jim Lee's airplane weighed 75. Mike McHenry weighed 68. 66 for Steve Millett. 68 for Steve Moon. My airplane weighed 57, which is correct. It was at that time. Now it's 59.
So
You're about the lightest in the open there, Sparky.
I'm looking. It looks like it.
When I came out of the weigh-in, the official weigh-in, I was told that I had the second lightest plane out there. And the lightest plane out there was actually a little I-beamer, a 40 size I-beam plane. So that's why I'm looking for the official list. Anyways, I had I was just looking at my when you said you want to have 2.5 ounces horizontal. Is that with hardware in it?
Ready to go, yep. Ready to glue in.
Ready to glue in a plane. That means tissue on it, finish, stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to use 4 coats of dope now, but 3 coats of dope, tissue, and the horn hinges and everything ready to glue in. 3 ounces what they normally weigh. And this one here, this foam one that I have here before I got any finish on it weighs 3 ounces. So it'll be 3.5 ounces. That's no good.
Do I excuse me? Do I make too much noise here?
No, I'm about ready to shut it down.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know I'm about ready to go. It's almost midnight, and I worked all day, and I'm beat.
Yeah, I'm kind of using this time to just do a little bit of work on this. I need a bell crank for it. I'm not gonna put the bell crank that came with the kit because it's just so crappy.
I'm gonna use my Steve Wilk belt crank in this one, 7 grams.
Carbon fiber one.
Yep.
How does it look
Danny
like?
Winship was still making them, but his were about 3/4 of an ounce. So
Can you show me? Do you have it?
yeah, let's see if I can find it. I know it's here somewhere. Oh, maybe it's over here. Let's see. Yep, no, that's a big windy one. Yep, here it is right here. That's what it looks like right there.
Okay. So is it sandwich 2 layers or what's in there?
No, it's a
Single
solid piece of carbon.
Okay. All right, cool. That's 1/8 inch thickness or perhaps
Yeah, probably 3/32.
332. Yeah.
And then it's got some wood bearings on it. It's about a 1/4 inch at the bearing,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it weighs. I think it was 7 grams. It was really impressive.
All right. Well, gentlemen,
It weighs
I
6.
signed in.
It weighs 6 grams.
6 grams. That's light.
That's cool.
So that's what I'll be using in this. I've
Has
used
anybody tried a carbon fiber, like the rod, instead of making it out of 1/8 inch steel, like 1/8 inch carbon fiber rod?
no, thank you. I'll use piano wire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just wondering.
I would use piano wire too because not because it's stronger, but I think it's much more wear resistant. I mean, when it starts to go back and forth, I think it's gonna saw through the carbon fiber right away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now on the other hand, if you want to be creative or something like that, you can make some kind of a wider pivot, like a hinge on your flaps, for example, right? Like a hinge kind of thing, like a fork that goes inside of a groove, and
Yeah.
the bell crank is like that. So you have a blade on this side, a wide blade, instead of just a pin.
I might try some titanium 1/8 inch wire.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, that'd be a lot lighter.
My motor pads are titanium.
Okay.
They were
Might
good.
work, but be mindful because titanium gets thinner and thinner. It likes to flex quite a bit.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I'll stick with it.
It's
Yeah.
not exactly a very rigid material. Titanium likes to. I mean, it's quite soft. If you try to cut it in the machine or something like that, you have to basically push it out of there because it doesn't like to cut. But if you take a rod of titanium, you can just easily bend it and keeps the shape. Take a 1/16 inch titanium and try to bend it to see how easy it's to bend versus a steel. It's quite. It's a big difference, and you can get from McMaster's some 1/8 inch rods. What I use it's 01.
Drill stock.
It's 01 rod. It's simply because it has good strength, good formability, and you can bend it easily. I mean, you can bend it and it's not going to crack or give you surprises like that. And one more thing, when you buy it from them, it comes polished. It's ground and polished. Looks like a mirror.
I just use K&S piano wire.
That's
No,
what I did too. I just wondered. I know
no,
that
I'm
Jeff
not. I'm not
Tuckler-
against K&S because I looked at K&S and I was disappointed with their quality. Try to go to McMaster, get yourself a rod of 01 and compare it to the K&S. There's no comparison.
01, is that 1/8 inch?
Whatever size you want to have. You get some drill rod. Get some drill rod.
Well, then you couldn't bend drill rod.
Actually, you can because it comes annealed, or depends what you buy. But 01, you can heat treat it if you want, if you choose to, or you can leave it as is. But it has the between the. I was looking at was a shaft material. I think it's 14, 12L14 or something like that. Was one of the shafts was pretty hard. I was looking A2 at A2. I was looking at 01 material, and if you look in McMaster at properties of these materials, and if you want to find one that's machinable, it's and maybe a material that is bendable and a material that has high strength. 01 has a nice check mark, very good on all of them. A1, it's okay if you want to bend it. All the other materials may be strong, but 01, it's almost the same strength as A1, annealed in a annealed form, and it will bend nicely and without giving you any issues. So to me, I think that's the way to go. You can heat treat it if you want to, get it red hot, put it in oil. It's oil hard, and you get it heat treated like that if you want to. But it's 1/8 inch. You don't really need it. So
01 wire, huh?
yeah, I think that's the best. And believe me, I did some research. I think I spent the whole day just researching just this one detail.
Well, let's see here. Metal wire, wire rope, bend wire. I don't see any piano wire.
Because it's not piano wire, it's called something else. What was that? It was just type in 01.
I did. 01 wire. Let's see.
There you go.
Oh, it came up with electrical wire and cable, motor winding wire, welding wire, grounding wire, thermocoupler wire, test lead cords, fence wire, box side stitching wire, bundling wire, wire rope, and metal wire. But
How
it's
about shafts? Try shafts. I don't know. Like I'll look it up and I'll see what I find. But I'm pretty sure they have it.
But check out metal wire ones.
01 wires.
Or maybe drill rod.
Straight wire rod. Ah, there we go. Metal rods.
Yeah, there you go.
The glass and ceramic rods, rubber rods, graphite rods, plastic rods, metal rods, aluminum, tungsten, shafts. Would it be on shafts?
How about steel rods? Try steel rods.
Well, I'm on rods, connecting rods, lead screws, nickel, lead disc, tungsten, shafts. Let's try shafts.
Yeah, shafts. Try that.
Keyed rotary shafts, corrosion shafts. These are all keyed stuff. I probably could spend a million years in this place. But at least now I forgot all about McMaster car. I'll look at it at a later date.
Yeah, I'm out of here, guys.
All right.
All right, Steve.
I'll see you
Good
guys
night.
Monday.
Good night, Steve. Thank you again.
Yep. See you all later.
Okay.
All right, good night. We're gonna shut this down, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And join Stunt Hangar. See ya.
Sparky, you got a sec?
Yeah, what?
Let me ask you one more question. Did you run a PA 75, which is equivalent to the 77? The way I'm running mine right now, because it's the way I got my lap time and I got to play the work rate, I was using a 13 1/4, 4.5 from Randy, 3-blade, and
Yeah.
it didn't work for me. So I went to a 13.5 2-blade, which is working. But what's equivalent to that on 3-blade?
To a 13.5.
13.5 right now I'm running. It's working really nice on a 2-blade. Right, the K77 piped. I'm on a 13.5 2-blade, but we were saying I'd get a better result with the 3-blade. What's equivalent to that? I was thinking 12.5, 5.5.
Yeah, 12.5. You go down a half inch and then up a bit in pitch. If I don't know the port timing on the 77, but if it's like a 75, it's developing the most torque around 8,000 RPM.
Right.
Where does it like to run?
I'm running it right now with the 2-blade prop at 8,700 RPM.
And how long is the pipe?
Let's see. From center of the plug to the baffle. It's the extra long that he has. What was it? The 19 3/8.
I run mine at 19.5 with a 14.5 4.5 3-blade Bob McDonald APC clone prop.
Yeah, when I ran the 13 1/4, 4.5, a 13 1/4, 4.25 on it, it loaded it up too much, and I didn't like it.
See, my other 75s in my Thunderbolt, I ran a 15-inch 4.5 2-blade on it.
Okay.
And you had some smoke on there, but I don't know that 77 has as much low-end torque because I don't know how it's ported.
Well, I never ran a 75, but they said I never ran a 75. I never had a 75. I wanted one, but he said he stopped making those. And that's why he said he had the 77s. And I got the 77 from him. So I told Randy to send me that. But I ran it with a 13 1/4, 13 1/4 inch prop. And it just didn't have the load bearing to it. The motor loaded up and heated up on me. It was giving me trouble. And I wasn't getting the proper lap time and pulling through the maneuver. So I was knowing I had to go up in pitch. So I went down to a 13.5. I got the lap time I want now. It pulls through the maneuvers. Everything is nice and smooth. But they're saying I can get it to work even smoother with the 3-blade. Is that true?
Well, 2-blades more efficient, but 3-blades are consistent. I don't know. A 1-blade is the most efficient, but you can't run a weighted prop on a stunt plane.
No, you can't do it 1-blade on. No. I mean, the two, I'm happy with it the way it's set up that way. I'm just curious for experimental purposes if I want to try that again. And I'm thinking the closest to that it would be a 12.5, 5.5. And I was thinking a Brian Ether.
Didn't you get those anymore?
Yeah, you can get it from him, I think, but they're unfinished.
Ain't nothing to finish them. Just knock the flash off and balance them up.
Right.
I would my theory to engine run is find where the motor produces its power at, what RPM it produces its power, and put whatever prop on it that you got to put on it to gear it. Because that's all it is. The prop is the gear. And you want to run that motor where it's the most consistent.
I mean, I run it at 86.5 to 87. 86.5 to 8,700 RPMs, depending on where I'm at. And she runs sweet.
Well, use whatever prop that it, will pull the right lap speed to 8,700. That's, whatever it takes. I can't say there's one magic prop.
Right.
There's not. I run my PA-75s at between 7,800 and 8,000 RPM. If you look at that flight of that airplane there in Huntersville, that was 7,800 RPM. And I should,
How heavy is the airplane? You said 59 ounces, right?
no, the high roller is a 61 ounce airplane.
One. I'm pulling more weight than that.
Well,
I'm pulling more weight than that. That's why I'm running a higher RPM.
well, that doesn't matter. I mean, if the motor runs good if my motor runs good at 7,800 and the airplane was 70 ounces, I would put more pitch in it to get up the lap speed.
Okay.
Like I say, the propeller is just the gearbox. That's
Right.
all. So you want the motor, wherever the motor's happy running at, if it runs good at 10,000 RPM, you run a 3.5 pitch prop. If it runs good at 7,800, you run a 5.5 pitch prop or whatever.
This one runs good. This one runs good at 80 with a 2-blade. This one runs good at 8,600, 8,700.
So go to a 12.45 3-blade.
Okay.
Try that. All I can do is suggest to try it because there's no.
That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for the fix or what the issue is. Something else to try, to experiment with and see if I like the results any better.
Oh, that's the best advice I can give you.
You gave me good advice.
No magic propeller. There's just got to try them all. Whatever works the best.
Yeah, the 13.25 didn't work for it, and it didn't give me my lap time, and it didn't drive the plane right. It didn't pull through the maneuvers. And when I put this one on, it works.
Let me show you this. You probably got this propeller here.
The one from Randy.
You probably got this one, the flat back prop.
Right. That's flat.
Yeah, look at the prop that I'm using.
Okay.
Under
chamber. Yeah.
And look at the diameter difference. They're 1/4 inch bigger. So.
Right.
But these are unobtainium. These are custom made. This is an APC propeller in the 3-blade.
And the ones I have are flat.
Right. See if you can find an undercamber prop that you can load the motor with. You get more drive out of undercamber.
Okay.
Of course, then again, I don't know how the 77 runs because I've never had one. But my friend has one and they look exactly, 77 looks like a 75 clone.
And they look exactly alike, because I got another friend of mine here, and he's got the 75, and I looked at his 75, and they're identical.
I think the cases are made a little better from Japan, but the castings are a little better.
The ones on the what?
The 77.
77.
But then again, I don't know. I'm a mechanic, but I don't work on model airplane motors. I say, Randy, give me a motor, and when it dies.
That's exactly what I did. I called him up and said, "This is what I'm building, and this is what I want. Give me that. Send me this. Send me the motor. Send me the pipe. Send me the header. Send me the prop." I put it all together. Just that 13.25 didn't work for me. It had too much load, and I wasn't getting the lap time. I wasn't getting the plane to pull through.
Well, Randy, maybe he can suggest a propeller for you.
And he said, try 13. Well, he told me to go drop it down to 13, and then but I only had a 4.5 pitch on a 13, 4.5, and he said I should try a 5.5 pitch. But my problem is I don't know how to pitch a prop. I don't have a pitch gauge to pitch a prop.
I don't even know they make them anymore. I got one, but
he's been trying to locate one for me.
Well, Windy, if you go to Paul Taylor's channel, Windy has a way that he did a pitch gauge out of a piece of motor mount. You don't need a fancy. I got a Prather pitch gauge. You don't need that Prather fancy gauge. You can do it like Wendy did, and I can't remember what video it was, but he shows how to make a pitch gauge out of a piece of motor mount.
Okay. I can look that up and see how to make one. If that's the case, but I know I gotta up the pitch a little bit. Then
Heat it up and twist it.
yeah.
Heat it with a heat gun, twist on it, and then, make some type of fixture that you can get a reading on it, and then twist the rest of them to the same. That's all. You got to keep props are, you just got to play with them.
Play with them.
All right, I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, same here. I got things to do and paperwork to run yet. I got to work yet tomorrow. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, everybody, we'll see you on Monday.
We'll see you.
Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.